If you feel like you're just drowning in digital reports, data sheets, trying to figure out what actually matters,
Yeah.
well, you're in the right place. We cut through that noise.
We do. We give you the essential insight.
And today, we're tackling a really fascinating puzzle. We're talking high performance, rapid growth, and rock-solid financial stability, all wrapped up in one local success story.
We are diving deep into the 2024-2025 district update for Goshen Local Schools. And this isn't just, a standard annual report.
Right.
It's a detailed, really community-focused document. It outlines their academic wins, their unique financial strategy, and how they're planning for the future.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Our mission here is to figure out how they pulled off this holy grail of public administration.
Exactly.
How are they managing more and more students coming in while also earning top academic marks and keeping their spending per student incredibly low?
That's the question. We're going to scrutinize their academic metrics. We'll analyze a funding model that's given them nearly 50 years of stability.
50 years, wow.
And we'll explore this really novel, cost-effective infrastructure plan that's designed to give their facilities, as they call it, breathing room for the next wave of students. It's a masterclass in operational efficiency.
All right, so to set the stage, let's start with a snapshot of Goshen Local Schools, just to give us a sense of the scale of their operations.
Good idea. The sources show they serve 2,774 students.
Okay, so not a tiny district.
No, not at all. It's a significant footprint. And to put that in perspective for the region, they're actually the third largest district in Claremont County, and their role in the community, it goes way beyond the students. The district is the single largest employer in the area.
How many staff?
353 staff members.
And here's where you start to see that operational success bubble up from the inside. This district has been named a Cincinnati Enquirer top workplace. Not once or twice.
But for 8 years running.
8 years. And crucially, that award is based purely on anonymous employee feedback.
That is a staggering metric. It suggests a culture of deep professional satisfaction, which is rare.
Very rare.
It speaks volumes about morale, about leadership stability, and, high morale, that has a direct impact on the classroom. It certainly feeds into their guiding educational philosophy.
And they call that philosophy the portrait of a graduate. It's like the district's roadmap. And it was created with input from the whole community, parents, staff, students.
So it's not some top-down directive.
Exactly.
And what's key is how this philosophy, it shifts the focus away from just passing tests. It identifies 5 core competencies. The first one is what you'd expect, academically prepared.
Right. Rigorous curriculum, lifelong learners, all that.
But the other 4 are really about character and disposition.
Okay, so what are they?
Well, the second is fearless learner. So they're emphasizing creativity, critical thinking.
Which implies a tolerance for, productive failure. That's
Yeah.
so important for real innovation, not just memorizing facts.
And the other 3, they cover readiness for modern life, for the workplace. You have resilient individuals, which is about physical and emotional health, a growth mindset. Then effective communicators, collaboration, teamwork, all those skills you need in any career. And finally, socially responsible individuals.
So character, empathy, citizenship.
Exactly.
What's important about that comprehensive portrait is that it gives them a real target to aim for, something more than just chasing state metrics that change all the time.
It connects their long-term vision to their day-to-day. If your philosophy is all about producing resilient, socially responsible citizens, you'd better see that show up in your academic results and in your community.
So let's see how that philosophy actually translates into, hard results. Their top-level result on the Ohio report card is pretty clear. 4.5 out of 5 stars.
That puts them in the top tier. They are tied for the highest achievement in all of Claremont County.
Tied with who?
Milford and Williamsburg. So they're not just succeeding, they're leading the local academic landscape.
And if we zoom in on Goshen High School, the stats on college and career readiness are they're really compelling. We're looking at a 98% four-year graduation rate.
Which is an achievement that ranks them among the top high schools across the whole state of Ohio.
It's incredible. But the graduation rate is one thing, right? The preparation for what comes after graduation, that's the real story here.
It really is. The 209 members of the graduating class of 2025. Get this. They earned over $3.62 million in scholarship offers.
That's a huge number, but let's make it real for people listening. If you average that out, it's over $17,300 in scholarship offers for every single graduating student.
It's an incredible vote of confidence in how prepared they are.
Absolutely.
And that's before we even talk about the credit hours they earn before they ever set foot on a college campus.
Oh, the dual credit programs.
Yes. Through programs like College Credit Plus and others, those graduates secured 11,181 college credit hours.
1,181 hours. That isn't just a number, that's a massive financial benefit. I mean, a typical 3-credit course can cost hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars.
Oh, easily.
Earning over 1,000 credits before you graduate. For free or at a huge discount. That represents 6 figures, maybe more, in collective tuition savings for those families. That's real economic value.
And the success isn't just top-heavy at the high school. Goshen Middle School's standardized test scores were above the state average in every subject and every grade.
So they're building that foundation early.
Very early. And you can see that focus. They've integrated career interest inventories for all middle school students, getting them to think practically about their future years before they even think about college apps.
And that community integration piece comes in there too.
It does. At the middle school, you have volunteers leading these whiz kids enrichment groups, making sure every student gets weekly literacy support. That kind of investment in reading through community partnership is a huge marker for success.
And you see specific achievements at the elementary schools too. Spalding Elementary, for example, earned the Purple Star Award.
And the Purple Star is a very specialized award. It's from the Ohio Department of Education for schools that show an exceptional commitment to military students and their families.
So it requires dedicated resources for that specific population.
Right. And then you have Marcook Elementary with a book blast fundraiser that got every single student at least 2 new books. Even the Goshen Preschool holds a gold rating from the state. It's system-wide.
Top to bottom, yeah. A real commitment to rigor.
Now, achieving that kind of consistent, high-level academic excellence, it sounds incredibly expensive.
It does.
And that brings us to the real puzzle.
Yeah.
How do they pay for it while being so efficient? We have to look at the district's fiscal stewardship.
Okay, the raw numbers show real prudence. Their total revenue was about $39.36 million, and their spending came in just under that at $38.53 million. So they're in the black.
Staying in the black is the baseline. But what's truly impressive is that they've operated under budget consistently for years.
For years, right.
While managing inflation and, growing enrollment, this isn't an accident. This is deep management discipline. And the audits back it up. For the 10th year in a row, the Treasurer's Office earned a clean annual audit from the state.
10 clean audits in a row. That's a hallmark of professionalism and transparency. That kind of clean operation builds trust in the community. But let's look at the financial engine here, because their funding mix it's really unique.
The sources break it down. You've got 52.9% from the state, 31.4% local, 9% other, and about 6.7% federal. That 31.4% local share is the critical piece.
And here's the fact that should make you just stop and rethink how school funding works.
Go on.
That local share comes from a mix of property tax and a 1% income tax. And this dual approach has kept the district off the ballot for operating funds since 1976.
1976. I mean, just think about that. That was before personal computers were common, before the internet, before cell phones.
The stability that provides must be transformative.
It is. Property taxes give them a steady base, but that 1% income tax lets their funding react to economic growth. It removes that constant anxiety of having to go to the community every few years, hat in hand, asking for more money. It lets them focus on education, not on campaigns.
It's multi-generational predictability.
Right.
But here's the critical point. If they're getting 4.5 stars and have this stability, you'd think they'd be spending a ton. But the data shows the opposite.
This is the most impressive nugget of all. Goshen's per-pupil spending is actually in the lowest 20% across the entire state.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me they're performing at the highest academic levels in their county, providing huge college credit savings, maintaining a top workplace culture, and they're doing it all while spending less than 80% of other districts in Ohio.
That suggests extremely high operational leverage. They are maximizing every single dollar.
So how do they do that without cutting corners?
The answer is probably in that long-term stability. They aren't constantly restructuring or fighting to keep the lights on. It lets them invest resources efficiently into targeted programs, like those dual credit courses we talked about. They manage their assets, financial and human, far more effectively than average.
But even with all this financial prudence, Success creates its own problems, right? The
Right.
community's growing. New families are moving in, which means they need a plan for classroom space.
Exactly. And this is where their operational efficiency pivots into some really creative capital planning.
Because the usual solution is what? Build a new wing, a new school.
The expensive solution, yes. But Goshen found a more elegant, tactical way to use what they already have.
So this past summer, the Board of Education made a really strategic move. They purchased the former KinderCare building nearby.
And that's the key maneuver. They're relocating the district's administrative offices to this new site.
Ah, so they're moving the offices which are currently inside one of the schools.
Correct. They're currently taking up valuable space inside a school building. By moving them out, they immediately free up all that physical space. This one move adds back 5 to 6 classrooms worth of learning space to Marcook Elementary.
That is a brilliant, high-return, low-cost solution. It gives them that breathing room for new growth right where they need it most, at the elementary level, without floating a massive multi-million-dollar bond issue. It buys them time.
Absolutely. This is tactical asset management at its finest. They hired the architecture firm SHP to lead the renovations at both the new building and the space at Marcook.
So what's the total cost for a move that gets them 5 or 6 new classrooms, plus a dedicated admin office?
The total price for both projects, the purchase and the renovation, is approximately $1.3 million.
That's it.
That's it. And when you think about the cost of building a new school being in the tens of millions, this is a phenomenal use of capital to bridge a capacity gap.
That seems incredibly cost-effective. So what's the timeline? When does this new space actually come online?
The plan is clear and it's phased.
Yeah.
The new district office is projected to be fully operational by May 2026.
Okay.
And critically, the newly renovated classrooms at Marcook, the actual learning spaces, should be ready for students for the 2026-2027 school year. It's a transparent and a highly tactical response to growth.
So what does this all mean when we tie it all together? The academics and the infrastructure. We have a school district achieving generational fiscal stability.
Right, through that specific balanced fund model, the property tax plus the 1% income tax, which just removes so much political volatility.
And that stability combined with extreme operational efficiency. I mean, you see it in the 4.5-star rating, despite spending less per student.
It allows them to focus their resources on things that yield high returns, like the college credit programs. And when they face the modern problem of growth, they don't respond with a tax hike. They respond with a surgical, low-cost asset optimization strategy.
That $1.3 million move that buys them years of capacity. It really is a powerful model for effective public sector management. But let's finish by circling back to the very beginning, that portrait of a graduate.
Mm-hmm.
We've covered the financial metrics, the academic performance, but one of the 5 core areas was being socially responsible. Character, empathy, citizenship.
And while that can sound a little soft, the sources gave us a tangible metric for it. It suggests it's really integrated into what they do, not just a slogan.
Specifically, we saw that Spalding Elementary students raised over $4,000 for 7 different nonprofits.
Including really important ones like Honor Flight and the American Heart Association.
Right, so that's actual community service being baked into the educational mission.
Which raises an important question for you, the listener. We spent a lot of time analyzing the dollar figures and the test scores, which are the measurable facts of success. But how much hidden long-term value does that deep integration of community service, the very thing defined as citizenship in their philosophy, how much does that contribute to the district's overall high rating and that 8-year streak as a top workplace? Is the commitment to character and empathy the unlisted variable that actually supports the academic resilience and financial discipline we just discussed? That's something to explore on your own as you think about what truly defines a world-class school system.